Fall is all about cozy comforts, but when you're prioritizing your health, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. With Hero Bread, you can enjoy all your fall favorites because they're made with Hero Bread sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls, and more. Try their all-new Hero Noodles with 12 grams of protein and just 80 calories. You won't believe Hero Bread's options have 0 to 5 grams net carbs and are high fiber from the taste and texture. They've even got small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular Hero Croissant. And right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code FALL25 at checkout. That's FALL25 at hero.co. All figures are per serving of Hero Bread. Contains 2 to 18 grams of fat per serving. See the product nutrition panels on hero.co for more information.
But we wanted to visit some news. And what a hell of a week we decided to choose to do some news, but this week.
Yeah, doesn't anybody have a trip report? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone take a field trip?
I just took the trash out. You want to
yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel. You just saved
it.
This is Lewis Black, and you're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Rachel. And I just want to say congratulations, Magic Our Way. You've ruined podcasting. First, there's the 10,000 people who are already doing them, and you said, oh boy, let's add our 2 cents, huh? Let's talk about the Disney movies and theme parks. What about the cruises, huh? Did you miss out on them? Hey, and what are you telling them? That they're great? Of course they're great. It's Disney. And even if people don't like Disney, they love Disney. So what are you doing out there, huh? And could you tell them in the meantime that my character, Anger, is wandering around Disneyland as we speak?
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it, feel it.
This is the show which every opinion is welcome, and nothing we present is groundbreaking or terribly exciting. It's just some filler for your life if you need it. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. On this episode, we discussed a couple of sad stories regarding Stardust racers, as well as the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. And look, this isn't your typical polish, practice, pixie dust, and Disney podcast. No way. We are not in the parks every day letting you know that guests were being redirected to the exit to enter the Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World.
Wait, they were redirected to do what?
To go in
Through
via
the
the exit.
They went
That's
in
weird.
through the exit.
The exit, yes. The
How
exit
did-
only, they went into it.
There's Bizarro Day.
And they were directed to do that.
They're directed to do that.
Why?
There was an oil spill at the entrance to Haunted Mansion, apparently.
Oh, spill.
I have no idea where the said oil came from. It was enough for them to shut down the entrance.
Was it oil
All
or
right.
ectoplasm?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. They never disclosed. It could
Some ghost
it
crying.
Could have been ectoplasm.
could have been Slimer just causing havoc again.
And you know what? Maybe they were crying tears of ectoplasm because of all the Disney news going on, or the theme park news, I should say, because that's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and depress the hell out of you.
Yeah. And believe it or not, you listeners do have the easy part. All you guys have to do is listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And I'm Rachel.
And look, if you're thinking about visiting the Universal Orlando Resort or Walt Disney World Resort or Disneyland or anywhere that you want to go, booking with Rachel is one of the easiest ways to support this show. Also, you can leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. Also, we want to thank our Patreon supporters, both past and present, for all they have done and continue to do for us. And before we get into it,
Yeah, I have news. I am one of the very few people in the world who has watched the movie Elio.
You're the one.
the only one. Is that out?
It's on Disney Plus now, streaming. We watched it last night. My kids were actually like really wanting to see it when it was in the theater, surprisingly enough. And we just never got out there. And I swear they like pulled it within a couple of weeks because we just didn't get a chance. But But yeah, we watched it streaming last night and I thought it was cute, actually. And if you have slightly older kids, I mean, my son's in 3rd grade. My daughter's in 8th grade. I thought they were both really good ages. I wouldn't say it's a movie for like the littles. It's more for grade school age kids. You know, Elio is struggling with the death of his parents. That's not a spoiler because it's the very first scene of the movie.
Oh.
And so he is trying to figure out like his place in the world now that he doesn't have his parents. And he's just kind of socially awkward. And I thought it was a really cool way for, in a really young voice, for kids to identify with this idea of like, I don't feel like I fit in. I must belong somewhere else. And then like through this journey, learning, that your home isn't so bad. Anyway, it was good.
So you recommend?
Yeah, I liked it. I don't think I would watch it again, but I wasn't upset that we watched it.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Good
Cool.
endorsement.
It was
I like that.
pretty.
One
it was
and
well
done.
done. Yeah, beautiful. So yeah, I thought it was good.
Ellie, no more.
Hell ain't no more.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah,
Okay,
me too.
good to know. I'll be
Yeah, a
curious
lot
now.
of good themes in it. You know, like he lives with his aunt because his parents have passed, and she is a general in the Air Force, like for this space part of the Air Force. So that was cool, like female leadership. And then there was also parts of it where Elio assumes something about this race of aliens that he meets, and then he finds out that they aren't quite as intimidating as he thought. They were sort of pretending, and just like good themes for kids. So especially older kids, like school age kids who are dealing with identity and those kinds of issues. I thought it was nice.
So an uplifting, it starts sad, but it's uplifting at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Very good.
Nice.
Kind of like this show.
Very much.
Yeah. We'll get you there at the end.
Yes. So look, all right, y'all, enough of our jibber jabber. Let's go discuss the latest in Disney news. Welcome to the Q, the segment in which we get to discuss all the news and happenings in the world of Disney today, or theme parks, really, for this one, if you're listening to the intro. And I hope you've been enjoying our trip report shows that have been coming out for the past couple weeks. We had a lot of information from the experiences we had with the summer, but we kind of want to break it up. We still have other shows in the bank, so don't worry, those things are coming on. We've got other things that we've talked about from our experiences and our trip, so make sure you stay tuned. But we wanted to visit some news. And what a hell of a week we decided to choose to do some news, but this week.
Yeah, doesn't anybody have a trip report? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone take a field trip?
I just took the trash out. You want
Oh,
to
yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel. You just saved the show.
But yeah, this week, we're recording this on Saturday, September 20th. And this past week, no doubt it's just been a sad week for news.
Yeah.
In the theme park industry. And so we'd be remiss if we didn't at least talk about it, chat about it a little bit. So here we go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to lead off with the Stardust Racers tragedy. That story over there at Epic Universe, a coaster I still haven't had a chance to ride, but I know Danny has and whatnot.
No, I have not.
I have.
Oh, you haven't? Oh,
No.
well, Rachel has.
I have.
Rachel has.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is what the story, if you haven't heard about it. A 32-year-old man named Kevin Rodriguez Zavala died after riding Stardust Racers, which is a dual launch roller coaster similar to Dueling Dragons that Universal used to have at Islands of Adventure. But this one's over at Epic Universe in Orlando. He became unresponsive after the ride and was taken to a hospital, and an autopsy ruled his death an accident caused by multiple blunt impact injuries. He had a pre-existing spinal condition and used a wheelchair, and the ride remains closed while authorities investigate.
I believe he was paralyzed, right? From the waist down.
I believe so. Yeah, that's why he was in the wheelchair.
yeah.
And the spinal injury. But yeah, this is for a new park, we have to comment on this because there's a GoFundMe account and everything to kind of help their family and stuff that's set up. But man, what a way, man! This is so very unfortunate. Jeez,
It really is.
so young too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, how old?
32.
Oh, wow.
32.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally
Man,
32, man.
that's so wild. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's what Universal's doing with it at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was a lot of backlash online because a lot of people were quick to blame the victim. they're either blaming the victim or they're blaming Universal. And I really do think that we've reached a point right now where like a lot of the stuff in the news, like if people are talking about this stuff like this isn't real people. Like,
right.
It's just TV characters or just, fodder for conversation. It's like, man, have some class, man. Have some respect for the family. Have a heart. Do you really need to comment on everything? Do you? Can you at least wait until the investigation's done before you're blaming Universal or blaming the man for riding a ride that he shouldn't? Whatever it is that you're saying, calm the hell down.
Yeah, I don't think Universal, they want you to have fun, and I'm sure it was an unfortunate thing for the victim, but he wanted to have fun. I mean, and it was just an unfortunate situation,
Yeah, I mean,
these things happen, unfortunately.
Even if your point of view is that, you shouldn't ride a roller coaster if you have a spinal injury. Okay, fair enough, I suppose, but to expect that a possible consequence could be death from multiple blunt force impact, like even knowing the cause of death right now, I can't say with 100% confidence how that could have happened.
Yeah.
And yet still be ruled accidental. Like, I don't know. And so it's okay to say, I don't know, as opposed to picking sides. It's,
that's what people do though.
Yeah. I think that's
an
issue. Yeah.
Well, I had a question about you all, like just in general, I guess like related to this story, obviously, but I don't mean it to comment specifically on this incident, but it's the lap bar versus the horse collar, right? And I think some people are saying like, if it had been the horse collar kind of harness, that like perhaps this wouldn't have happened. But because it's the lap bar, he was more in danger. I don't know. As a rider, I prefer the lap bar.
Same.
So I would hate to see those go away as a result of this, but I wonder if that is a potential outcome.
Yeah, more than possible.
Probably. I thought you were going to say which one was worse, because like the horse collar, I get you have to put it on your home, but it's so constricting, especially if you're a big person like me. Like you put the thing on and you're just trapped and stuck, and it's not fun. I mean,
Rock and Roller Coaster has it, so yeah, it's definitely a tight experience
because you can't, you don't have that fun of freedom. Now I get it in this instance because of this individual's condition that wasn't conducive, but it's like when we talk about rides, like Danny and I talk about this being, just for a split second to pivot, like we'll talk about being tall people and we'll sit in a ride and the ride isn't necessarily, they didn't say, hey, if you're 6'2", you grew to 6'2", well, you can't go on it. We will be adventurous and we'll go on it. But then, we'll say, hey, my knees hit that thing like nobody's business, and I don't know if I want to get on that again. We may not just be adventurous enough to kind of deal with that. This individual might have wanted to have the experience of having that ride. But the point of that is saying none of these things are perfect, because every individual is taking, their own, will to have this ride.
Yeah, no, I remember being in Epic Universe and Lily wanted to ride it. And so we started walking towards Stardust Racers. And as we get closer to it, she's staring at the ride and she goes, does this thing go upside down? And I looked at it for a bit and studied it. It was kind of getting a little bit dark at that point in time. And I saw a section of the track that looked like an inversion. I didn't really look into the ride at all. Of all the rides I was anticipating, this was, I'm not a roller coaster enthusiast so much. I'm more of I like theming. So I asked a team member and he thought about it for a second. He's like, I believe it does. I believe it goes. So off of that, Lily decided not to go. However, it wasn't because she had reason to fear for her safety. It was just because it was too intense for her sensibilities. And there's a lot of rides that I don't go on because I don't want to risk getting sick, but I've never had to factor in, and I might also die.
Right. Right.
There's a laundry list of warnings that they do on all these rides. And yes, you have to, if you have a condition that's on there, then you have to consider that as a risk. But like I said, multiple blunt impact for a guy sitting secure in his seat. Even if you pass out on the ride and go limp, the results shouldn't be that your body just gets beaten to death.
No, I mean, I'm no forensic expert. I mean, like, but maybe this person had to take some sort of medication for their condition, or like, we don't know. Like, that's when the investigation has to come into play. But I don't think it's as simple as someone got on the ride and then this all happened on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I think there were other factors involved that
Sure.
they
And that's why I was just kind of going to Rachel's point. Like, if that can happen, if there's a condition by which your body goes limp and you're counted on to be able to rigidly hold yourself up and stay in place, then yeah, she's right. The horse collar thing would have been a better way to go. But
true. I got you. Yeah.
all of it just too soon to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kevin. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering because something I was researching this or reading about it. Was the guy sitting by himself, or was there somebody next to him?
Oh, I don't know.
See, I'm so unfamiliar with the do you sit side by side in this coaster?
Yeah, it's a side by
At
side.
least two.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the two, but I don't know. Is it separated or is it kind of like old Big Thunder where it was like you're sharing a lap bar?
It is separated. You're not sharing a lap bar.
Okay.
It's the same as like
Expedition Everest.
we have super. No, the lap bar is a lot more secure than that. It's closer to Guardians of the Galaxy. It's that kind of lap bar that comes down like sort of between your legs, but it has the like molded.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it goes like it really hugs your thighs super tight.
right.
Like we have a coaster here called Superman that has at Six Flags that has a restraint like that. Guardians of the Galaxy has it. Velocicoaster, if anybody's been on Velocicoaster, which is a more intense roller coaster, has the same kind of lap system.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, Velocicoaster is more intense than this ride, and
I think so. Yeah.
and it has the exact same restraint.
Yes.
Wow. And that's the thing. I'm like, I wanted to say when I looked it up, like over 20,000 people a day can ride this ride, and it's been in use for over 4 months now, 5 months. Where were we at?
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Through the summer. June was the official opening. I think.
So that means like
I
what,
wrote
or
it.
May.
I wrote it in April.
Oh, well then even
At the
earlier. That's right, because they had that. Yeah,
that travel agent
previews and
that's
everything like
right.
that.
Yeah, or the who
So yeah, well over 2 million people have probably ridden this thing without incident. And that's not even counting all the testing that they did beforehand. I mean,
Man.
look, as much as Universal, Disney, and Six Flags try to make these rides as safe as possible, you also can't possibly take into account the particulars of every physical and medical condition known to medical science. I mean, it's also, I mean, sometimes things happen and you only learn about it in like, oh wow, I didn't realize that was a possibility of that happening. I mean, isn't that what makes a situation a tragedy? Is that something truly awful happens and then perhaps things were preventable, but you don't realize that except with the benefit of hindsight because you never could have anticipated such a thing.
Yeah.
And I think, you're not really fully aware until you're able to look at things in hindsight and like, oh, that's kind of where we went wrong. That was that 1 in a million possibility that we didn't anticipate.
That's the thing. There's no way you could win if you're this company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like they make sure you have laws in place so that if people have any sort of disabilities, they deserve the right to go and enjoy themselves, have the right. So if you were to say, no, we don't trust that you should get on this, well, now you could be facing a lawsuit, and then now it looks like you're discriminating. There's so many different intricacies here to where it's like, well, look, yeah, you have the freedom, you have the option to enjoy yourself. Everyone should deserve that right to enjoy themselves. But it's like, yeah, the discretion is the tough part.
Yeah.
in something like this.
I don't care for the people right now, particularly that are blaming the ride operators. Like, why did they let this guy on? Like, really? We're going to blame the 19-year-old kid who's got no medical degree at the front of the line,
right?
Earning $8 an hour.
I actually don't know if they're allowed to refuse someone who wants to ride. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Right.
I guess I don't know the legality of that, but if you think about it, like, then that you're asking somebody who, like you just said, is not a medical professional,
Right.
to visually judge someone's disability or illness or whatever and say, oh, you're not allowed to ride. Like, I think that would probably be a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Exactly.
100%.
It's discriminatory.
So I just don't know that that's even allowed. I don't know. I guess I'm going to acknowledge I really don't know. So if someone does and they want to write us, if they're like experts in this, I'm interested. But I don't think that those ride operators would be allowed to do that. I think the only time they're allowed to refuse someone to ride is because the safety restraint isn't going in place. And so they have like a protocol for like, you can't ride because of the size. We can't get the train to be safe around you.
Right.
I know they also can refuse children that are visibly upset and saying they don't want to ride. Like I've been on Gringotts, and a child was riding with a parent, and the child was like, I don't want to go, like crying, really upset. And the parent was like, you're fine. You'll love it. Just do it. And one of the team members asked the child as they were getting into the ride, point blank, do you want to ride? And the child said no. And the team member said, you may not ride. You have to exit. If the child says no, we cannot allow them to ride.
I saw that on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. A little girl lost her mind. And they tried to convince her, the parents, and finally it was just like, ma'am, you're holding up the train. And those poor people, they waited in line over an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah. Gringotts was long that day too. But so I think those are the only circumstances where they really, I mean, I guess if someone's visibly intoxicated, I can imagine
I could see
they have discretion to say no to that.
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so too.
Yeah.
But it would be an absolutely horrible look if Universal said, I'm sorry, but if you're in a wheelchair, we're instructing our ride operators not to let you ride. We've decreed no money. That would not go well.
There's no scenario possibly when this could have gone in a natural good fashion. Yeah. If we wouldn't have any amusement park in general if they were just like, no, you can't get on because you're this, that, or the third. You may as well just get rid of it at that point. And again, look, I don't really think it's anyone's fault. No one saw it coming. I mean, there's nothing you can do. It's a corporation. I'm sure the people that saw this individual come in, they might have said, hey, look, be aware there's a person with a disability. I'm sure that person was given the ramp, was given ample chances, but they wanted to ride the ride. Can't tell them no.
No, absolutely not. As you said, it's a bad look for Universal. It's terrible for this family.
Yes.
Nobody walks away feeling good about this. No one wanted this to happen. So,
I mean, the people that were working that day, I'm sure just feel terrible.
Oh, geez.
I'm sure.
You know? I mean,
there was like a false story being spread around at one point in time by somebody that pretty much said, well, I mean, maybe false is the wrong word for it, but they'd kind of put out that there was like a piece of metal or something like that was in the guy's car or something to that effect. I can't remember what the exact circumstances were. And I guess it was proven false over, like it was basically the metal, like it was like a release mechanism or something like that they use to get people out that are trapped in their seats.
Okay.
Like if you've had a condition and they're trying to get you out of that ride. And so it wasn't like,
oh, I saw that tool.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go.
Remember we got stuck on the werewolf coaster.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they had to come out and manually get us out of the seats.
Right.
That's what they called it, a big piece of metal. And they said they saw it hanging from the victim's seat.
Yeah.
And that ended up being debunked. Like that. No, it wasn't like a piece of the ride fell off or anything like that.
Gotcha.
It was they were trying to get him out of there. So that was also more misinformation that went around. Again, so quick to judge.
With little information.
Yeah.
They want to point the blame. You know, this is a theme park and that camera is all over that ride.
Yes.
So the story is out there, but it's not in public view. So,
and the death was ruled accidental.
Right.
I mean,
so before you start pointing fingers, I mean, let's see how this develops. If I'm sure the families has to be consulted before the story gets out with her or something. I don't know, or even or National Transportation Safety Board or whoever regulates this. Puts out the full story of what happened, is watching the videos for sure.
Well, and just consider the family's feelings when you're out there commenting online. Like, again, like this is a TV character, not a real person.
Yeah, the empathy is
dude shouldn't have rode. I'm like, shut up.
Reality TV kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not just characters.
My next question is like, what do they do with the ride?
They reopen it if it's safe. And this was something that, was a complete and total unforeseen thing. Like he lost consciousness because of another
issue of medicine.
But if it turns out that what happened is that, if you do lose consciousness on that ride bangs you around to the point where you're beaten to death. And I do think that they need to change out the harnesses for sure. I think Rachel, I mean, it's crazy that, like, again, Rachel said that the Velocicoaster ride is much more intense and this has never happened. And that ride's been around for quite a bit.
Right.
Again, this just could have been a 1 in a million type of situation, but I don't care. I gotta imagine some people have lost consciousness riding these things, like have blanked out for a second. And if you go limp, like I said, you should not be beaten to death.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Put like some sort of Richter scale or something on the ride to say it has this much velocity to it? Like I don't know what science you would have to put to have a bigger warning to let somebody know, be careful of riders. Like I don't know how that works. Like that's wild.
I don't even know either. I'm using the term beaten to death, and I don't even know that that's what happened. I just don't know how else to interpret multiple blunt force.
It doesn't.
impacts.
Yeah, that's a set of words that are used in crime dramas all the time.
Right.
Yeah,
It sounds like a car accident or something.
or somebody
Like cars rolling over or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
blunt force. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Prayers to the people's
bless the
family. And that's really the most important thing is be respectful. I mean, shoot, no one wanted this to happen.
No. I'm sorry for their loss on that.
And look, if you want to support the family, definitely they do have that GoFundMe, which I mentioned earlier in this discussion. Just web search GoFundMe and Kevin Zavala, and it'll pull
Zavala,
up. Zavala, however you pronounce it. No disrespect. But it comes up usually as the very first hit. So you can donate. A lot of people, I'm looking at it right now, there's been 770 people that have donated. So if you want to help this family with and they're asking, it's mostly for like funeral and memorial expenses and to honor his life the way he deserves, you could definitely do that.
Remember those endless summer days that felt like they just last forever? Sun rays kiss your skin. Grass tickles your toes as you bite into the creamy popsicle melting in your hand. Pure, unbothered bliss. Capture more sun-drenched memories with the Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration Multiplier from Liquid IV. This nostalgic vanilla flavor with notes of candied orange can help keep you hydrated while savoring your favorite golden hour moments. No matter how hot your summer gets, just one stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you better than water alone. It's 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, with 8 vitamins and nutrients for refreshing on-the-go hydration. Live your summer dream with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code INDULGE20 at checkout. That's code INDULGE20 at liquidiv.com.
All right. And the next story that we're going to discuss, of course, that happened this week is the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. Right. And so there's not many Disney fan sites or even Disney podcasts that are even touching this thing. But we're touching it for a little bit, but not in the way that you think. Not inappropriately, for sure. But
I mean, all opinions are welcome.
Appropriate touching.
Appropriate touching.
Total
with
consensual
Yes.
touching.
We asked.
The story.
Yes.
We took you on a date. Yeah.
We cultivated it. Just figure out how we want to approach it. But anyway, unless you've been living under a rock, just for historical sake, since we do a podcast, and this will be remembered forever and ever on the interwebs, internets. This is basically what happened. And I'll hit the bullet points here. On Jimmy Kimmel Live, which is the show last week, Kimmel suggested that the man who killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk was part of the MAGA crowd before authorities confirmed by any motive. Essentially what was said. Several ABC affiliates called the remark offensive and pulled his show. ABC and Disney, of course, which is the parent company, then suspended the show indefinitely, and FCC Chair Brendan Carr criticized Kimmel's comments. Conservatives cheered the suspension. Late night hosts like Conan O'Brien and Stephen Colbert called it censorship and a threat to free speech. Fans are split. Some say Kimmel crossed the line. Others see a political pressure silencing a comedian. And the bottom line is that it is now a flashpoint about free speech, media responsibility, and whether corporations cave to politics. That's what the whole hubbub is. That's what's currently dividing the fan base.
And we get to make sense of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be welcome.
Us.
Yeah. Hey, do the tough work. Nobody else wants to touch it. We're just like, hey, that should be addressed as a fan of the
it's
product.
Significant because we've touched other topics like this before.
No, that's kind of where I would start with this. So we did a show back in 2021. I think it was show 361, where we discussed Disney deciding to end their relationship with Gina Carano.
Oh, yeah.
For some politically motivated tweets that she made. And I kind of I'm going to be consistent with what I said back then. I'll say it now. If you're going to spout off your political opinions in this highly charged, toxic landscape,
sensitive time
that we live in, you need to be prepared to accept that there are going to be consequences that come with it.
Situational awareness is a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I see people calling this a First Amendment issue. I don't believe it is. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel was censored. I think he said exactly what he wanted to say. I think he had more than enough time to go over that joke and decided that, no, this is what I want to say. And
that's the thing.
Whether you agree with the joke or you don't agree with the joke, he got to say it.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of living with the consequences of what you had to say.
Well, that's your thing, right?
Well, yeah. And
it's freedom of speech if somebody caught him like coming out of a car randomly, asked him something, and that was the first thing that he said.
Or, yeah.
But he had time to prepare and right. So it's like, is it really freedom of speech if it's prepped before you go out on national television? And
what'd be the difference if it was prepped or not?
One is organic and then one is prepared.
Well, I think people are more likely to forgive the organic off the cuff remark that you made without thinking too much about it.
Right.
As opposed to, we thought about it, writers pitched it, we put it right into our set, and he delivered it.
Yeah,
so,
it's edited. It's like, you know, in other words, there's like 30 people. I've never watched the Jimmy Kimmel show for the record, but I'm assuming that when you see credits, like most stuff that's done in Hollywood, it's not like, oh, here's 5 people that made the whole thing. It's like a slew of people. So that means like a slew of people.
Yeah, there's a team.
Yeah. So that's why I would say the freedom of speech is kind of clouded there. You know?
Sure. Yeah. And look, his premise by most media accounts is faulty.
Mm-hmm.
And the backdrop of the joke was about the assassination of an individual who isn't even in the ground yet. You have to accept that your bosses, the advertisers, your viewers have the right to decide if they still wanted to support you if you say something that they disagree with or they think is morally reprehensible, or if they completely agree with it. I mean, you live with those consequences, right or wrong.
That's it. That's the other thing. Like, if you're at your, like, let's say you're just a basic plebeian like us. You can't just go to your boss and like throw a plate at him, tell him how you feel. Like,
No.
you would be worried about the repercussions of things like, I don't know, not having a place to live or not eating. You know what I mean? Like, this to me applies on just a more bigger stage.
Yeah, no, if I'm at work and we're having a Teams meeting and at the end of the meeting, the boss asks, so does anyone have any questions? And I say, yeah, when is Trump going to release the Epstein tapes? I got to imagine that at least I'm going to get a talking to, or if not just outright dismissed. I mean, it's like you don't have... You have the right to say whatever you want. You just have to be willing when you're working on somebody else's dime. So if they're like, no, we don't want that in our workplace, stop.
It's like, I mean, that's, you know, to lighten it a little bit, it's like the saying in Ricky Bobby, right? You know, just because you get to say with all due respect, that doesn't give you the right to say whatever you want to me. Yeah. I mean,
that's like when somebody says, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that doesn't do a thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Or what? I used to get this a lot of when people would say, "I'm not trying to be racist," but and then like they would say this,
right. Always the but,
and then you'd be like, "Why'd you say that?" You know, like so. In other words, that's just the natural reaction of people, in my opinion, where they just want to hit that button. You know, they want to hit the button that says, "Ooh, did you hear what Jimmy Kimmel said?" Because I don't know. Again, I don't watch this show, so I'm assuming his ratings weren't too hot. Like, all I know is if I watch the news, he comes on, and then I'm using the bathroom. Like, that's So maybe he was going for that hot button push, and it backfired. Like, it would.
From what I gather, I didn't watch the show. From what I gathered, he said a lot of stuff about Trump. He was very politically motivated.
Okay.
And I think that's a problem in the sense that, like, if you're an advertiser or you're a network, I mean, you want your show to be seen and appreciated by as many people as possible. If your host is automatically doing and saying things that is going to alienate half the country, you're already working at a deficit.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit.
I did find this interesting. I'm looking at a BBC article. The headline is Senator Ted Cruz says U.S. broadcast regulator acted like a mafioso on Jimmy Kimmel. And so Ted Cruz is a, very famous conservative senator, has a conservative podcast. And he's actually criticizing the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, for the way that the FCC, which is a federal commission, public commission, that criticizing them for the way that they threatened ABC. They, I guess the FCC chairman implied or maybe said, I haven't seen the quote, that ABC's license might be revoked if they did not suspend Jimmy Kimmel. Where you're saying like, or your point was that Jimmy Kimmel got his free speech by being able to say what he said, but he's not free from the consequences. And that is true in this country. Yeah. You have freedom of speech, but you are not free from the consequences of your speech. But in this case, if the federal government is threatening retribution in response to free speech, that might be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And in that regard, I think, look, trust me, I would prefer we just do away with that FCC regulation. Let people say what they want to say and live with the consequence. You shouldn't be under fear of it. Look, I think it would be great if we lived in a world where if you're someone who thinks that no one should lose their job because they make a tasteless joke or they espouse a different political belief, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But that just has not been the world we've lived in for a long time now. I mean, if you're ticked off about Jimmy Kimmel losing his job, cool. You're boycotting Disney now. Did you boycott it when they fired Gina Carano? Did you boycott it when they fired Roseanne Barr?
Yeah.
When James Gunn lost his job, when Bill Maher lost his show, when Tucker Carlson lost it. I mean,
if anything, Disney's been consistent with that.
Yeah, exactly. I find that Disney's consistent.
Yes.
The outrage isn't.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because if you weren't mad about those instances, then this isn't a free speech issue. It's a selective speech issue. And you're only concerned with protecting the speech of those that you agree with.
Yeah, it's a popularity.
That is a problem. So I would be 100% fine doing away with that thing where we all need to attack each other for espousing opinions or making jokes that are tasteless or classless or whatever, and just being able to say, hey, every once in a while we all say something stupid and move on with our lives. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in right now. And I also do believe like it was coming not just from the FCC, like it was like affiliates and stuff like that were threatening, like we're pulling the show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, the affiliates were saying, they were going to, that was more of like an economic consequence, right? But the FCC did threaten the license. And that's more civic, right? That's like more public. That's the government stepping in and telling ABC that, they could see consequences for free speech. I don't know. It's a gray area. What makes it a little like, I do think it's important to remember that Jimmy Kimmel is not a journalist.
Right.
I think some people have been talking about this in the sense of like, journalists need to have freedom, like freedom of the press. And I don't know that I don't think Jimmy Kimmel would call himself a journalist.
He was on the Man Show, for goodness sake.
I was going to say,
have women jumping on trampolines.
So I don't.
Well, that was a good time.
I do know they comment on the news and public discourse and politics, but that doesn't make him a journalist. So I do think there is a distinction between. I think Jimmy Kimmel would want a distinction between him and journalists.
I think I
know Jon Stewart says all the time, "I am not a journalist. This is not a news show."
That's what I was going to say. I think he's a journalist in the same way that Jon Stewart or Bill Maher is a journalist.
Right.
But having said that, if you go on your show and you say something that is false and it's not a joke, it's the premise of your whole bit. Like if he cut that whole part out, the joke would have still worked. He didn't have to say all that stuff about, oh, they're trying to score political points, MAGA, this, that, and the other. He could have cut all that out and go right into, Donald Trump's mourning the loss of his friend, did his bit. And people probably still would have been up in arms and said, well, he's insinuating that Donald Trump didn't care about his friend.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would have been to this level of vitriol.
Yeah. Like, cause I had, again, I don't watch Jimmy. I don't even think Jimmy Kimmel is funny at all. Like, I really don't. I mean, Jimmy Stewart is funnier than Jimmy Kimmel to me, but Danny let me listen to the whole line of the joke, and like when he got to the actual punchline of the joke, I was like, oh, well, all right, I get that. It's a little crazy, but he stuck the landing.
I thought the construction line was funny.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Yeah. But then when he went after that, and then he was like, he said, like, talk about the points and then all that other stuff.
The goldfish, like he compared Trump like feelings toward Charlie Kirk, like, oh, that's like a 3-year-old losing their goldfish. Something like that. I can't remember what it was. It was something to that effect, though.
It was like, well, okay, when you go for the first tag, the first thing is it helps that you know people. Like, you have to figure that the person you're about to tag or insult or whatever you're going to do, you have to hope that they have the mentality to accept that it's a joke, it's funny, or whatever. You being on television doesn't allow for that. I mean, whether you got a studio audience or that thing where they make fake laughter or whatever, like, he does not have that benefit to look at the TV screen, see my face looking at him on TV, like, ooh, I don't think that guy's going to take the joke I'm about to say. He doesn't have that benefit.
I believe that it was CNN that reported, or a couple of different outlets reported that he was given the option to apologize.
Okay.
There's a whole host of things that he had to do in order to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when he didn't want to apologize. It was that bad. Like he had to like stand on his head or something.
And he just said no. Like
well,
so maybe some of the things that he had to do was unreasonable, I suppose. But I mean, it doesn't preclude you from sitting out an individual tweet or something like that. Like saying, if I'm offended you, I'm sorry for that, but I'm not going to do the rest of this crap. I don't know what was the list of things he needed to do.
Yeah, so this is the things he's been asked to do. So first of all, of course, issue a formal apology, right? So the major ABC affiliates, Sinclair and Nexstar, that's what they're demanding that he do.
Okay.
The reason why they're involved is a whole merger thing, but that's a whole different story altogether.
Yes, which has to go before the FCC. So that it does contribute to this story, though, that merger.
It does.
They are going to have to appear before the FCC to get what they want. And so they probably are less likely to want to pick a fight right now.
Oh, so wait. So this is getting conspiratorial. Like,
well,
I'm not trying to get conspiratorial. I'm just saying that, like, if you're about to need something from somebody, you're probably not looking to piss them off. Sure.
That's what I'm trying to say. I wasn't meaning it as an insult, but I'm saying like, yeah, it turns into a thing of, oh, I see, because we can find like interests, they must have conspired.
If this person was, let's say, not of the same political affiliation or was something slightly different, would this man get this much trouble? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that conspiratorial. I was thinking on that point.
I don't know. I tend to reject the conspiratorial because it always ends up being nonsense.
Because it hasn't happened.
It's so hard to prove something like that amongst so many different people with so many different interests. And, shoot, how many times did the FCC threaten to take Howard Stern off the air? Jeez. Like, I don't remember too many people, actively bowing to that.
Yeah, that's fair. How does that work? Like, let's say in the Howard Stern case, if it's still on a point where you need advertisers for your revenue, right? Then this still goes into place, because this is my point is most of this is about branding, right? Like they say, okay, we're not trying to offend anyone. We're just trying to entertain you. So that way the advertisers could come in, dump their money in, and everybody gets to say how good everything is. No one wants that disrupted. I understand that. That's what television is. That's make-believe. So when these things do incur, how far down the rabbit hole does it go? How separate can you say, all right, I'm not on ABC now, I'm on Sirius Radio?
But isn't that the problem with the conspiracy, though? It's always, but what if? Well,
it is always what if.
That's the fun part of the conspiracy. There's always a what if. There's always like, they would want to work with so-and-so because, and you can just keep going and going and going and going. And the good thing is you never really have to prove anything.
Yeah, that is very nice to have to prove.
The whole premise is based upon like interests coinciding.
And nobody that's commenting on this issue is in the room where, it's a quote Hamilton, nobody's in the room that when it happens. Nobody has no idea what is going down. The deals are all speculating. The optics maybe don't look so favorable, or they can come up with their own ideas as to why this particular thing happened. But when you're in and that was going to be my point, it's like, look, you're dealing with a business run nation. This is a nation built on businesses. All the policies and the behind closed doors things that take place, which none of us have any control of.
No.
And so to start pointing fingers and to get extremely divided on this issue is a little upsetting.
It is.
Because, at the time, we got to be smarter than this and still unite. And maybe this is why Disney removed Bug's Life from the parks, because they don't want to remember this movie.
Okay.
But there was a whole line in Bug's Life where the grasshoppers are talking, and they're talking about, it's just one little ant. And they'll have, what was Hopper? Hopper was the main he was, I don't know if y'all remember this. Yeah. But he's talking about, it's like, this is, it's just one little ant, huh? Yeah. Okay. And he opens this little chute and a little bean pops out, or whatever it was. I forgot what it was. Some kind of seed or bean pops out, hits a grasshopper. They all laugh. It's like, yeah, no problem. It's like, yeah, how about another ant? So he lets another bean out. hits him in the face like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's just another ant. Everybody's like, yeah, it's no big deal. It's just an ant. And then he opens up the whole hopper and a ton of beans come out and just flood. And everybody's like, oh, what the heck? What the heck? Mm-hmm. He's like, they may be just ants, but they outnumber us.
Yeah.
And the only way to keep them under control, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember exact lines, is to keep them under control.
Yeah.
From the powers that be. And so to allow things like this to divide us as a nation, as a fan base for Disney or whatever else, y'all gotta think past this. This is it's not business versus, I mean, maybe it is business versus the rest of the world or rest of us in the country or something like that. But there's a certain amount of people that hold that business that, don't care about anybody else as long as they're making the business happen. And if we keep feeding into it, they're just going to just be doing all right in life. And we're still going to be doing what we're doing right now, which is everybody can be subject to the whims of whatever company you're working for, who you're making their dreams happen and not yours.
The whims of madmen.
We could all just unite and decide that we're not going to stand for this anymore, and it's going to be one standard, and that standard is going to be applied equally. But we can't wait to point to the other guy's slip up.
He's not that funny. Really, I really can't get over that. Like, I mean, he's not.
And that's the other thing, is that a lot of people are saying, look, this isn't a conspiracy. This isn't the FCC. This is the fact that the guy was pulling in about 1 million viewers.
Yeah.
And he was making over $200 million.
$200 million? And he couldn't say, I'm sorry?
I don't know how much money he was making, really, but I'm sure it was in the millions.
Somebody flipping burgers, if they gave a customer a bad burger.
Yeah.
The manager would say, please apologize to the customer for giving them a green burger.
Not for nothing. Who watches late night television anymore? Does anybody? Like, I remember when Stephen Colbert got fired, they tried to turn that into a political issue, and the woman around is like, nope, it's just that late night television really isn't viable anymore.
He said something crazy like that too?
No, they fired him because ratings, he was making so much money, and they were like, this, and the woman was interviewed, and she's like, no, it's just that this is not a financially viable thing. We didn't just get rid of him, we got rid of what's the other guy? The guy that did the carpool karaoke.
The guy that was after him, the English dude?
That guy. They got rid of James Corden. I think they got rid of him too, or they're getting rid of him as well, because they're saying late night television is a dying. And it's true as far as I'm concerned, because I don't know anybody who stays up and watches late night talk shows anymore to hear celebrities talk about their pets. Like, anybody? Kevin, you watch late night talk shows?
I know, but I'm also not the sample size to demonstrate the rest of the country either. That, it's like, I don't watch it just because I'm tired. I go to bed.
Exactly.
Well, that's
but that doesn't, I don't represent everybody else. There may be a whole slew that more than us in this room.
My daughter, no, for sure. But I mean, my daughter doesn't even watch TV anymore. It's all YouTube. It's all on the phone. It's not about TV anymore for the youth. I mean, it's Netflix. It's
Hulu. It's all the short stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not the time where we were young and there was only 6 channels on television. Right. And you were trying to go to bed and you thought it would be cool to stay up late. And then, like, I'm really dating myself, but, Johnny Carson is on or Arsenio Hall is on or whatever. But this is a whole new age for that. You know what I mean? So I can see it being something to save money for the company and say, yeah, we can shave off, I don't know, just making a number, like $50 million and then put that towards a better streaming service or put that towards something that is happening now towards the future. That makes more sense. We may never ever get that kind of confirmation from who the big wigs are in their ivory towers or not. They're not going to post something like that on Facebook. They're just going to do it.
Rachel, are you and your family, y'all watch late night TV, late night talk shows?
No, none. Out of all of them, I like Jimmy Fallon the most. Typically, when I see like his shorts on social media or whatever, like little short clips, I also like Jimmy Fallon because he's from New Hampshire. So.
That's fair.
That's where I consume most.
And he has a theme park ride.
Yeah,
and I liked him in Taxi. He was fun in Taxi.
But I don't even watch his show either. I'm sorry. I mean, now that we have so much content, if I'm not going to bed around that time, I'm in the middle of watching the end of the football game or the end of some movie.
Are you right? Now, fantasy footballers, I'm sorry, Jimmy Kimmel, you will get no play while Josh Allen is going. Not this time. Yeah.
Well, everything just. I think what you mentioned just supports my idea of this business thing that's
Yeah.
underlying all of this that people just have to recognize.
I feel that.
I remember from like Pirates of the Caribbean 3 where the East Indian Company guy was just like, it's just good business. And he went up a band of pirates that normally wouldn't get along together. And the pirates freaking, won against the corporate nest or whatever else. Just something to think about, because I hate hearing when people get fired because of this stuff.
I do too.
It's like come on, seriously, really? Are we getting that divided to where it's just like Rachel said a few weeks ago? It's like my team versus your team kind of atmosphere.
I thought you were going nonsense on a napkin.
No, because she had said, when we were talking,
it was like sports.
No, it was about sports. It was like the whole sports mentality about this thing. It was like, here's the funny thing, and then not just because I'm a musician, is I never heard any like person that attended like a classical orchestra concert say, I don't like your orchestra because my orchestra's better. I've never heard anybody that's into the arts period have that kind of, maybe DC, Marvel, but
I've never heard the Beatles say, man, screw the Rolling Stones.
That's right. Yeah, I've never heard any of that.
It's not like that, but and that's the thing.
That's
like,
art,
I don't want to see anybody lose their job for this stuff, but at the same time, I also think celebrities are so out of touch. Like the idea that this guy is his part of his First Amendment right is he gets a TV show no matter what. And it's like, dude, like, no, like if I can't do this, if I know better than to do this at my work, why do you seem to think that you can do this at your work?
Exactly.
And that's the thing. It's like Rachel's being careful in stuff that she's saying right now because she's got a job.
Yeah.
We're all being careful.
We all got a job.
Yeah. I don't have a job, so I say what I want.
I think where I find a concern, I think we all would, no matter who the government was controlled by, whether it was a Republican leader or a Democratic leader. I don't like the idea of the government trying to control speech. If the market is going to do it, if ABC affiliates are going to drop the show and ABC is going to respond by saying, okay, we don't run this show anymore, like I can understand that. I don't like the idea of government coming in and telling people how to speak.
Yeah, and I'm
not saying they did, but it's a gray area. You know what I'm saying?
It just all goes back to what I said when we talked about this in the Gina Carano series, when we talked about that whole firing. It's like the movie War Games. We're all just sitting around and waiting for Joshua to keep blowing itself up until he finally says, "Stupid game, Professor. The only winning move is not to play."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's been years, and we're still waiting for everyone else to figure out, stop doing this. It doesn't do anybody any good on either side.
No, it's gonna keep going because you're gonna have, to add to that analogy, you're gonna have younger people that haven't seen that movie, and not know that solution basically, and they're just gonna come up, and they're not gonna ask people who already know what's going on and challenge their thoughts and learn from them. They're just going to assume, I already know everything. This is how I feel. Take them out.
Because that's what they've been fed. Yeah.
Right. When in doubt, that's just cut it off. Don't ask any questions. It's just wrong. And no one asks why or how do we get to this point? Because once you do that with people, you'll be surprised. You literally will see smoke pop out their ears. Like, they'll just stop, and then they won't want to have anything to do because they know you're going to approach them from a point of saying, let's figure out a solution and not make sure someone's livelihood is, not taken away.
And that's the sad thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as a civilized society, I hope we could have some kind of conversation without people just going off the handle.
I wish.
Civil discourse. I don't know.
But until we get over this whole idea that one side is the Sith and the other side is the Jedi.
The whole yin yang thing is you need one with the other. Because without the other one, it's like you can't define the other.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I try to not get political. I'm going to get a little bit political, but not too much. I'm an economics teacher for people who don't know. And I think the key is prosperity. I don't think that we have enough equal distribution of wealth. And I think that makes people divided because they are frustrated with their situations. And so I will say that Democrat or Republican, because there are wealthy people in both parties. Boy, if we had a little bit more equality in terms of our living situations and our quality of life in terms of our economic status, I think things would be better.
I like that. That
Man,
was well put.
Robert's 2028. What is it? Where are we at?
2028 for the vacation.
Man, I'm not too young. I almost was like, I'm too young to be president, but I'm not.
Super Bowl champ and president. Boy, we can't be stopped. Watch out.
You've got my vote.
You do. You have
I'm
mine
with you.
too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I know how to fix that.
Just
Oh, well, no.
no, but that's a really
I just
good
think if we
point.
could,
No, I think that's an
if
excellent
people
point.
could live a little better, they'd be a little less
Yeah.
angry.
No, I think she's 100% right.
Totally.
I believe that, that's where a lot of this divide comes from, is that people are looking around and saying, why aren't I living better than this?
Mhm.
I work hard. I do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
How is it that what do? They start looking around for someone to blame.
Right.
Yeah, it's very sad. I
Very
mean,
much.
they use race, the race question
Mhm.
on applications to divide us.
Oh my God. Yeah. Gender now.
If
like-
you take that away and you just look at classes, they use classes to divide us. But if you look at the latest census, and I looked this up just out of curiosity, the latest census reports,
okay.
the middle and lower class far outnumber the upper.
Yeah.
And so if we want
Back
to
to your
change,
analogy.
right? It's exactly an analogy. And so if you want to make some kind of change, we got to be united in this, man.
But they know what's up. They make the plane ticket size so we can't fly over there and kick their ass.
Well, I mean, it's just something to think about before you start pointing. Before maybe you want to cancel our show or cancel anybody else or cancel anybody else's job.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't help anything, right?
Yeah.
You're still going to be living the same exact thing, regardless of what kind of politicians in the White House. I'm still going to get tax money out my paycheck. That's the one constant, regardless of who's in charge, is happening, is money out my paycheck. But I mean, just look at the numbers and just kind of back out and see the big picture.
Yeah. Instead of looking for ways to tear other people down, start your own podcast. Start your own. Well, don't stop listening to us. But yes, start your own podcast. Start your own show. Put your own ideas out there.
Yeah. Learn something new. Get a new
Destroying
tech, yeah.
something is so much easier than creating something.
That's why
well
there's
put.
not as many artists
Mhm.
or art's not being pushed as much as like maybe say athletics.
It's a beautiful thing. Art is definitely
arts
a beautiful
programs
thing.
are getting that.
Yeah.
You're missing that piece.
Yeah, they're cutting that too. Government's cutting that too. Yeah.
Criticizing is the easiest thing you can do. And trust me, we do it on the show. But I mean, we always try and look at things from an artistic standpoint. And unfortunately, some of our movies these days are being made not from an artistic standpoint,
From
but
business.
it's more
Yes.
financial.
Big time, yeah. Well, y'all, we hope you enjoyed hearing our thoughts and discussion about a couple of sad stories. Of course, not everything's all roses, in the Disney universe or even theme park universe. So, yeah, we got to address both sides of the story. Look, if you want to learn more about us, make sure you follow us on any social media platform. Also, if you want to get in touch with us and share your thoughts about what we discussed, you can do so through the following ways. First of all, shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com or call or text us at 1-815-WEEKEND. That's 1-815
Whoa, weekend.
669-4226. And of course, we have a couple people do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does great things with comics. What you got, sir?
Yes, sir. As always, I appreciate the support. When you visit the Ivory Comics website, you can see everything that I have there. 48 pages, fully colored. That's a bang for your buck. That work includes Project Geisha, Savages, and Molly Be Damned. Also on the website, you can find blogs and interviews and a link to the Magic Our Way podcast. So you never miss a beat. You never miss an episode. You never miss some true insight and who to vote for your future president. There you go. So as always, love the support there when you visit the Ivory Comics website. On social media, Facebook.com, Eli H. Ivory is where you can find me there. And as long as you're a real person, it's a pleasure to meet you. But if you're a bot, do not need to greet you. Please just go somewhere. I do not need my loans consolidated. Thank you. Also on Facebook, there is a Project Geisha fan page. So please look out for that. On Instagram, seeing what you guys and gals got, posted up the hearts and the likes, seeing what everyone has. EIV504 is where you can find me there. And of course, on X, I can be found at Hancock10166. So yes, if you appreciate the madness, you're just giving me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And if you want to book a vacation anywhere, any theme park, you can do so through the following ways with Rachel. Rachel, how did you do this?
Yeah, please reach out. I book Disney on both coasts, Universal on both coasts. I book cruise lines, so Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Virgin Voyages, Norwegian, other major cruise lines. I also book major hotel brands around the world. So If you're traveling, I can help you. Even if you're just traveling to like the next state, you just need a hotel room for the night. I can help with that too. The best part is that it's at absolutely no extra cost to you. And so it will cost the same amount out of your pocket as it would if you booked it on your own. The benefit is a little piece of the cost of your vacation comes back to support this podcast and this podcast community.
And Rachel's presidential campaign.
Yeah.
No, I do not endorse that message.
She does not endorse that message.
The best way to reach me is through email. My email is Rachel, RACHEL @magicourway.com. You can also find me on social media. I'm at Our Family Magic. That's the letter R and the words Family Magic all smooshed together on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and oh gosh, there's one more. YouTube. And then
Oh, yeah.
you can also reach me by phone. You can leave a message, send a text. My number is 978-432-WISH, WISH. And I might even pick up. So you might get me live. And it costs the same exact amount to you as if you booked on your own. The benefit is that a little piece comes back and supports this podcast and this podcast community. And I can help as much or as little as you like. So please reach out. Thank you so much.
In addition, go to patreon.com/Magic Our Way to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast. Also, another option only costs a minute or so of your time is to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. Any way in which you could support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are welcome on the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
All right. Nachos are on plates.
And you are. Bye.